Okay, so in the world of software development, AI is obviously changing just about everything. But what's really interesting is how we're starting to use it, and it's splitting us down two totally different paths. So today, we're going to break down the massive difference between what people are calling vibe coding and a much more professional approach, agentic engineering. And trust me, getting this difference right is probably going to define the next chapter of your career.
And it all kind of kicked off with this perfect description from Andrej Karpathy. Gleefully reckless. I mean, come on. That just perfectly nails the vibe, right? It's this chaotic, fast, and fun way of building things where you just throw the rulebook out the window. And that, right there, is the heart and soul of vibe coding.
So let's dive into that, the rise of vibe coding. Because look, it's more than just a funny meme on Twitter. It's a real thing people are doing. It's this idea of putting the AI on full autopilot. And yeah, that might sound a little terrifying, but it actually has some moments where it really, really shines. So what is it exactly? Well, think of yourself less as an engineer and more as a prompt DJ. You tell the AI the kind of vibe you're going for, it spits out a whole bunch of code, and you just run it. You don't read it, you definitely don't review it, and when it inevitably breaks, you just copy that big, ugly error message, toss it back to the AI, and say, here, you fix it. You're just guiding, not building.
Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds absolutely unhinged. But here's the thing. It's actually super useful in the right context. You're in a hackathon and you need a demo by tomorrow morning? Vibe code it. You're building a quick little script to automate something just for you? Perfect. It's even a pretty cool way to explore a new framework or just brainstorm some wild ideas. In these situations, speed is the only field that matters. Quality, maintainability, that is a problem for future you or, more likely, for no one ever.
Okay, but here is where the trouble really starts. The term vibe coding is so catchy, so perfect that it just exploded. And now people are using it to describe pretty much any kind of coding that involves an AI. And that fun little label is starting to cause some serious, big-time confusion. It's become what you might call a suitcase term. We're just stuffing way too much into it. You've got people lumping a weekend hackathon project into the exact same category as a professionally built, mission-critical system that just happens to use AI tools. And when you call those two wildly different things by the same name, well, that's when expectations get dangerously out of whack. And this right here is the inevitable result. You take that vibe-coded prototype that looked amazing in the demo, and you try to turn it into a real product. You try to scale it or make it secure, and suddenly the whole thing just crumbles because you realize no one on the team actually understands how any of it works. As one engineer so perfectly put it, you're not engineering a solution, you're just hoping. So if vibe coding is for prototypes and hacks, what do we call the real, professional, disciplined way of using AI to build software? We need a better name, and Agentic Engineering is the one that's starting to stick. This is the professional standard we've all been looking for. In this world, you are no longer the prompt DJ. Nope, you're the architect. You're the one in charge. You design the system, you break down the work into smart, manageable tasks, and then you direct AI agents to do the grunt work. But, and this is the most important part, you retain full ownership. The quality, the security, the correctness, the buck stops with you, not the machine. And this term just works so much better. For one, it actually describes what you're doing, you're orchestrating agents. Makes sense. Two, and this is a big deal, it's professionally legible. You can actually say the words agentic engineering to your CTO without giving them a heart attack. And most importantly, it draws a super clear line in the sand. This is discipline, that is just YOLO. And this comparison just lays it all out, plain and simple. The role, it goes from DJ to architect. The review process, it goes from optional to absolutely mandatory. And the entire guiding principle, the question you're asking yourself, shifts from just, hey, does it work right this second, to the real engineering question. Is this correct, and can we actually maintain this thing? Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like day to day? What's the workflow? Well, it's not some crazy, complicated new process. It's really just about bringing back the fundamental discipline that vibe coding so gleefully threw out the window. It really boils down to 4 steps. 1, you plan. You actually write a design doc before you write a single prompt. 2, you direct and you review. You give the AI a very specific task, and then you review every line of code it produces with the same critical eye you'd use for a human colleague. 3, you test, relentlessly. A great test suite is your safety net. It's what proves the AI's work is solid.
And finally, number 4, you own it. The docs, the monitoring, the pager that goes off at 3 a.m., that's all on you.
And you know, this whole thing leads to a pretty fascinating irony. We all thought AI would let us get away with being lazy, right? That we could skip the boring parts of engineering? It's the complete opposite. AI actually rewards good engineering practices. The better your plan, the better the code it rates. The better your tests, the more you can trust it. So when you see these AI projects fail, it's rarely the AI's fault. It's because someone skipped the thinking part up front.
So this new workflow, it leads us to a bit of an uncomfortable truth. Because this new way of working doesn't benefit everybody equally. In fact, it's creating a massive and rapidly growing skill gap in our industry. So you have to ask the question, right? In this new world, who are the winners and who is at risk of getting left behind?
Well, the evidence from the field is becoming pretty clear. For senior engineers, this is an absolute superpower, a massive force multiplier. Why? Because they already have that deep, fundamental knowledge to direct the AI and, more importantly, to know when the AI is confidently wrong. But for junior engineers, there's a real danger. The risk is you become someone who can generate tons of code without ever actually understanding how any of it works. Your skills could atrophy before they even develop. And that's the key takeaway here. AI is not a shortcut. It doesn't let you skip learning the hard stuff. In fact, all those core engineering fundamentals, system design, security, performance, they matter more now, not less. The AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but its power is only truly unlocked in the hands of a master. So, where does that leave us? What's the future of our craft look like? Well, the path forward is pretty clear. AI agents are only going to get more and more capable, and this agentic workflow is fast becoming the new normal. So, the real question is, what do we need to do to adapt? We need 3 things starting now. First, we need honest words. Let's call a hack, and professional work. Use the right name for the job. Second, we need to change how we measure success. It's not just about speed anymore, it's about reliability. And third, we have to double down on teaching the fundamentals. Because as AI takes over more of the implementation, the human architect becomes the most valuable person in the room. Because when you strip it all away, all this incredible new technology doesn't make the job of being a software engineer any easier. No, it raises the bar. It demands more from us. More discipline, more architectural thinking, and more profound ownership. So the question isn't if AI will write our code. That's already happening. The only question that matters now is, how will you lead it? Are you going to be a DJ, or are you going to be an architect? Are you ready?